Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report, because without you guys, well, I certainly would be doing videos, and nobody'd be watching them. Well, we are 4 seconds left to the end of the first half, and some of the things that I liked, some of the things that I didn't like. I talked about it all off season. A lot of people have already been burying Dez Bryant, saying that Dez Bryant is no longer the elite wide receiver, a top 10 wide receiver and stuff. Yeah, well, like I said, last year, Dak Prescott went to OTAs, the offseason and all that, as the third string quarterback. Would get two practices, plays, again, practice. 2 practices. Sorry, you're not getting any kind of repertoire with Dez Bryant with 2 practices. And then going into the training camp, Kelvin Moore was the backup quarterback to Tony Romo. I got to tell you, I hate to say this, but Kelvin Moore getting hurt was the biggest blessing that the Dallas Cowboys had last year. I can't believe I'm saying that, but just think about this for a minute. Think if Tony Romo didn't get hurt. Think if Kelvin Moore didn't get hurt when he got hurt. That gave Dak Prescott valuable minutes. And because Tony Romo would take off a day a week, that gave an opportunity for Dak Prescott to get a little more playing time. And because Tony Romo basically didn't play in preseason most of the time, it was all Dak Prescott. But had Kelvin Moore still been the second string quarterback, had he not broke his ankle, Dak wouldn't have gotten that time. They would have stuck with Kelvin Moore to coach him up in case Tony Romo went down. Then Tony Romo would have went down, and it would have been Kelvin Moore. So sometimes it's better to be better to be lucky than good. Because that's a situation that we really dodged the bullet. We were fortunate that Dak got as much time as he did during training camp before the season, before Tony Romo got hurt. Dak's the real deal. All those people that have been saying he's a dink and dunk quarterback, he just benefited from having Ezekiel Elliott and the best line in football. Well, guess what? All y'all are about to be proven wrong again. Because y'all are the same guys that said he's Tim Tebow 2.0. He's a running quarterback. Now, what I said was, look at the numbers from last year. Dez Bryant being hurt, coming back, not working with Dak Prescott. But as the season went along, all of a sudden you started seeing Dez getting more and more balls, Dez getting better and better, Dez getting deeper passes. So we finally got to the Green Bay game, best game of the season for both of them. And I said that situation is going to continue, and it's going to get better because those two guys are going to be working together in the offseason. And unlike years in the past where Tony Romo is coming back from injury, Dak Prescott has had a full offseason training camp with receivers. Dez came in here healthy. And you can see, boom, back shoulder fade, boom, right there to Dez Bryant. Touchdown. And this offense, with or without Zeke Elliott, is going to be a bastard offense for defensive coordinators to stop. There's too many weapons. We haven't even added in there Rico. We haven't added in there Ryan Switzer. Now, I know we're talking about the Colts defense, which is piss poor. But let's look at some of the numbers here. The Cowboys had, with Dak Prescott only playing 2 series, 257 yards offense, 163 passing. I believe 106 of that was all Dak, by the way. and 94 yards rushing. Darren McFadden, 9 carries, 59 yards. Had he not had that fumble, this thing would have been blown out. And that goes to show you how big turnovers are. We had scored on that play, been up 14-0. Instead, we end up turning the ball over there. Boom. Other side of the fence, we end up turning the ball over for a touchdown. 14 points we lost on 2 turnovers, which is why our defensive pass rush is going to be key for us to make a run for the Super Bowl, because it will help us to get turnovers. We have got to get those turnovers. Now, the offense, I believe our offense can run with anybody. I think we're about to see one of the best offenses that the Dallas Cowboys have ever had in their history, as long as people stay healthy. McFadden, I agree with you, David Smith. McFadden looked fantastic. Just had that one fumble. You know, I don't think he's typically a fumble. But see, this whole thing goes back to, I had a theory last year. GWD2 equals +1. And what that means is that offensive line opens up holes so good that every running back will be at least a yard better in that offense than any other one. You look at Darren McFadden, the 3 years when he was in Oakland before he came to Dallas, it was 3.3, 3.3, 3.4 yards a carry. In 2015, even without the Dallas Cowboys having a real legitimate NFL quarterback, except for 4 games when Tony Romo played, he was still 4th in the NFL in rushing, with 4.6 yards a carry, I believe, added to his career total. DeMarco Murray, same thing. He literally went from Dallas and dropped 1.5 yards going to Philadelphia. Now, it's come up some in Tennessee, but it's still not where it was with Dallas. So with everybody's thinking that it's just Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys can't win without that guy. I got to tell you, with that offensive line opening up the holes, with running backs being able to get upfield with a head of steam and not get contact sometimes 2 and 3 yards downfield, a lot of running backs will do well in that offense. And then, of course, you add to that Dak Prescott being able to roll out. You got to worry about him going to the house with him. And then when you start adding Dez Bryant, who now is healthy and acting 5 years younger, who can get deep, now you got to worry about double covering him. You got Jason Witten out there who may be as old as the mountains, but still can catch the ball and still finds a way to get open. Terrence Williams, Bryce Butler, all of these guys, any one of them, Cole Beasley, can beat you. You only have 11 guys on that defense. What are you going to focus on? You can't focus on one thing. You got to worry about 6 different guys beating you. And that's something that I don't think that anybody else has. I mean, you know, the Steelers have Antonio Brown. You know, Atlanta has Julio Jones. But nobody has playmakers in every single skill position like the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody does. Who will you say in the skill position is a weak link on that offense? Who? Even with Darren McFadden in for Ezekiel Elliott. I can't tell you that there's somebody weak. If Jaylon Smith is healthy with that offensive line, with Collins getting some more work, if Jonathan Cooper can do okay at guard, or if Chaz Green can find a way to stay healthy and play at that guard spot, you got the best offensive line of football, along with collectively the best group of playmakers together. Unstoppable is what that offense will be. The defense, Taco, still stepping up, still getting penetration, still getting there. The worry, of course, Orlando Scandrick, I believe is concussion possibly. We didn't say exactly what it is, but I think it's concussion protocol maybe. He was playing well. You saw him on the blitz there, batted pass in the end zone. We need that guy. We're still trying to find out more about Orlando Scandrick right now. They said cognitive. To me, that's brain injury. That means concussion. Um, the other thing, the bad, oh, God. Kellen Moore. Oh, man. Kellen Moore. Unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of quarterbacks out there yet. Cooper Rush, I look forward to see him in the third quarter. But remember, we're talking about the Colts defense, which isn't exactly a premier defense. And now we're talking about playing against third-string players. So he may look good against them. I'm not sure he's ready to lead the team, but right now, I'm sorry. Kelvin Moore hasn't shown me anything. I'd take Brandon Wheaton over Kelvin Moore right now. So they've got to start looking someplace else. The only place you can look elsewhere-wise, I mean, there's not like there's decent quarterbacks out there. It's Colin Kaepernick. I know people are saying, you can't do it, that guy. He's disrespectful. Okay, you know what? We have guys that have beaten women. We have had guys that have been busted for drugs. We have guys that have been arrested 10 times, like Adam Pac-Man Jones. This guy stood up for what he believed in. Whether you agree with it or disagree, we as American citizens have the right to believe what we want to believe. That's what our country was built on. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it or I have to agree with it. But that is the way it is. And you can't be selective on saying, oh, well, you can say that, but you can't say that. It's our our country given right. So, other than that, Colin Kaepernick hasn't done anything off the field. Colin Kaepernick hasn't thrown somebody against the wall or thrown somebody on a pile of guns. So, you got to look at it as this team has the ability to go all the way. This team will be okay as long as Dak Prescott gets hurt. But your job is to make sure you plan for the next man up to be the best guy that you can put on the team. Kelvin Moore ain't it. Cooper Rush is still pretty young. If something happens, you're thrown away the whole season. So I think that you've got to at least think about it. I think you've got to at least talk to the guy and see where his head's at. See, hey, look, I did that protest last year. I believed in my cause. But I'm not going to do that here because I want to have a job. We can forgive Ben Roethlisberger for rape. We can forgive Brandon Marshall for domestic violence. Why is it you can't with Colin Kaepernick for sitting down during the national anthem? But we'll leave that where it is. And of course, we have to talk about Jaylon Smith. Jaylon Smith got his first tackle, I think they said, in 590-some days. He moved pretty well. There's some times where you can see he definitely was out of place. Where I saw him having problems is lateral movement, adjusting to the running back shifting. He's got the speed going forward. He's got the speed coming around, but when you have to step and sidestep, I'm not sure that leg is there right now, and that's where you notice he got upfield. He got penetration in the backfield, but when he had to cut, that foot wasn't quite there for that reaction. It may just be that he's rusty and hasn't played, and it's just taking poor angles. And maybe that'll come with time. Allegedly raped. Okay. Cap has a strong arm and no accuracy. Yeah, but here's the thing. Kaepernick has a strong arm and no accuracy. True. But what does Kelvin Moore got? If nothing else, Kaepernick can run the ball. You see that with Kelvin Moore? Kelvin Moore had how many balls batted back at him? He fumbled down there, which gave him a score. I'm sorry. I have no faith in Kelvin Moore winning a game for us if that goes down. He had a few decent passes here and there, but at 6 foot, he can't really see over that line real well, and he gets a lot batted down. I think you got to look elsewhere. So we got the second half on, and oh shit, I rewind. Okay, I'm seeing everybody's comments about Moore is terrible. We did, yeah. You see the difference of what turnovers do to you between Darren McFadden fumbling. You see we lost 7 points. Should have been on the board. The team is moving the ball at will, and all of a sudden one fumble kills that drive. Kelvin Moore, one play, boom, gives another 7 points. That's a 14-point swing on 2 turnovers. So I'm going to go back to watching the game, and I'll see you guys, my final thoughts after the game. Thanks for tuning in.